Okay, in this tutorial I will be explaining how to do the audio splicing for the Unperpose project. So we're going to start in the Google Drive folder and we'll open up the instructions and we'll open up this sheet. So the instructions have the conditions and then step by step how to do each part, which I will also explain in this video. So first we're going to go over the conditions, and basically the main goal of this process is to take these 4 sentences and create these 5 conditions. So our first condition is the Spanish non-switch unspliced. So it's basically just the same exact as the first all Spanish sentence. And then number 2 for the conditions is the Spanish no switch spliced. So we're taking this sentence, which is all Spanish, and we're splicing it right before the keyword, and we're putting in the second half of this first sentence. And then our third condition is the Spanish code switch unspliced. So it's just this sentence. So it's Spanish to English with a code switch right before the keyword. And so our fourth condition is Spanish code switch spliced. So we have the first half of the Spanish one, and then the second half is the second half of the code switch sentence. And then just for good measure, we have a third code switch. So we have Spanish code switch spliced between the code switches. So this is the fourth sentence, and then it's going to switch back to this one. Alright, so now that we're a little bit familiar with the conditions, we'll go through and we'll look at the sheet. So we have this sheet open, and this is where we're looking at our progress so far. So this step has already been done, and it's the chunking of videos with a whole bunch of items into videos chunked just by the item. So what we'll be looking at is one file and turning it into these 5 files. And so these checks mean that these ones have already been uploaded, so now we're looking at 3SP Elizabeth. So I'm going to go here, go to Spit Project, Audio Files, and then to number 3, Processed Recordings, meaning that they've already been chunked. And then I'm doing Elizabeth's, and so I'm going to go open up number 3. And we're going to listen to it, and I'll show you how they match the conditions.
Salvador estaba triste porque su rana no podía nadar. Salvador estaba triste porque su rana no podía nadar. Salvador estaba triste porque su frog could not swim. Salvador estaba triste porque su frog could not swim.
Alright, so now that we've listened to all those, we're going to download it onto whatever computer you're on, and this just shows it because I was already practicing. So then we're going to open up Audacity, and I have a link right here where you could just search it up in your browser. I'm going to start downloading it. So now I'm here, I'm going to open up File, Open, and we're going to open it up. And now on this track we have that sentence that we just, that file that we just listened to.
Salvador estaba triste.
So it's the same exact one. And our goal first is to split these up onto different tracks. And on my computer, I'm going to do Control I in between. You can also do a right click and do a split clip, but this is just easier. Also on the instructions file, I have it listed, like the couple ways to do it. Alright, and I am going to rename them so that each clip so that it's a little easier for me to follow. So I'm going to name them the same as this. So this one I'm going to turn into SP1 E2. Alright, so let's just double check. SP1, SP1. Yeah, perfect. So now we're going to make the 4 tracks below so that we can move these around and play with them. So we're going to be adding mono tracks 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is right. So we know this is for our 5 conditions that we talked about. So these 5. Alright, so I'm just gonna rename these. Okay, so now I've added all 5 tracks and I've labeled them according to each of the conditions that we want. Now we can start doing some splicing. So this one we'll just use, this track we'll use to hold all of them, but at the very end it's just going to be this one. Okay, so now that we have our 4 clips split up and our 5 tracks created, we're gonna look back on this. And so our first track is just going to be this one, but for now we'll use this track to hold all the sentences. And then, so our second condition is going to be the first half of the second sentence and the second half of the first sentence. And so because I'm going to be using the first half of this sentence for this one and the second half for this one, I'm just going to go to this one and splice it right now, and then I can copy this down to here and this down to here. Alright, so I'm going to be listening for that keyword, which you can find right here.
Salvador estaba triste porque su rana no podía nadar.
Alright, so somewhere around here, let's see,
Porque su
around there maybe? Let's see where Sue ends.
porque su
Yeah, right around there.
rana no.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a little cut right there. And so, looking at this, we're going to use this second half for this. So now we need to go to sentence 2 and cut it off at the end of Sue.
Salvador estaba triste porque su
So around there.
Salvador estaba triste porque su
Yeah, that's a good place. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to copy it down to here. We can get rid of that silence before. And then take this and copy it down. And then by grabbing this, it kind of clicks into place. And then let's listen. Mute this one. I always forget to mute.
Salvador estaba triste porque su rana no.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. And it's going to vary a little bit with the noise quality and the volume and speed, but as long as it sounds fluid is what we're looking for.
Porque su rana no.
Yeah, so you can hear the end of Sue, beginning of Rana. That's not how you say it, but that's my poor Spanish. Alright, and so we're done with this one, and now this third condition is just grabbing our third sentence, pulling it down. So that'd be the SPE1. And so that's our Spanish code switch unspliced. Again, I'm going to get rid of that silence before. And then this one is just the whole sentence, so we're all done. And so now for the fourth condition, Spanish code switch, we're going to take that clip what we got from here, and then we're going to stick the second half of that one. So we'll take this one, already done for us, and again, get rid of some silence, and then we're going to find that code where it is in this one. Let's check here first. Oh, again, remember to mute the other sections.
Frog cannot swim.
Right, so because it's a fricative, it's going to look pretty quiet, but it's right around here. So I'm going to click here, do that, copy. Alright, let's check this out.
Estaba triste porque
Oops. Again, make sure you're listening to the correct track.
su frog cannot swim.
So it sounds a little awkward right now. Let's see if we can get this part a little longer.
Porque su frog.
Sounds pretty good.
Porque su frog cannot.
We just needed that clip a little bit longer for the timing to sound better.
Triste porque su frog cannot swim.
There. Again, you can tell that there's a splice happening, but we want it to be consistent. So now we're going to take first half of this one, and then we can just copy that same ending there. Alright, so now we're going to grab this fourth sentence we had, copy it down here, zoom back in. I'm guessing it'll be around here.
Salvador estaba triste porque su
Yeah, because I think this is
frog could not swim.
Yeah. So let's cut around here. And then copy that down. Oops. Yeah, SP1. Alright, let's try this.
Salvador estaba triste porque su frog.
Let's cut this part down a little.
Triste porque su frog. Estaba triste porque su frog could not swim.
Nice. Sounds good. Alright, so now we're going to double check that we have all of our conditions right. Alright. Yeah, we need to get rid of these sentences. So SP2 out, second half of SP2, and then these out of the tracks also. Alright, we can get rid of this silence. We can just chop all these ends off. Make the clips a little shorter. And let's see. So this first one, even though it's clipped here, it'll still sound the same. You can double check. It's like, it has like a cut down the middle, but not separated. Alright, so that one's all SP1. And then this one is beginning of SP2, ending with SP1. The third one is all SPE1. And again, even though there's this splice in, or not even splice, but just because it's been split in the middle, it'll still sound the same because they're together. There's no pause between. And then so this one has the SP1 into SPE1, and then SPE2 into SPE1. Awesome. And you can go back and listen to every single one and make sure they sound right, and you can do any kind of little adjusting to make the timing sound right. But once they sound all good, we're going to have to go on to our next step, which is moving them into their own files. Now to do this, we're going to have to go to File, and New. And this is going to create a new window. This is going to be a little bit annoying, but if you... It didn't show like this on my other computer, so it might just have it like appear with a new window, but for this computer it's pulling up a whole new thing. Basically, we're gonna have to move each of these into a new window so that we can save it completely separate from each other, because if we save it like this, it's gonna save it with them being stacked on top of each other. We don't really want that. So what we're doing, we're gonna unmute it. I'm gonna copy it, go to this new window, add a new track, I'm gonna paste it. And you could do, I'm pretty sure either one is fine, since we've already edited it. Alright, move them closer together, and again, it's still SP2, SP1. And then we're gonna create new windows for every single one of these, and then we'll be able to save them separately. Also, I just renamed it here so that you can keep track of which window is for which. If it gets chaotic, okay, now that I have 5 different windows with each of the different conditions in their own window, we can go to, let's double check, this is the first one. Yes, SPNSU. so for this first one, I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Export. No. What am I going to do? What did I go to? I went to... Okay, so now that I have my 5 windows with the 5 different conditions, and I made sure to have each one labeled with their correct condition name. So now I'm going to take this name, just going to copy it. I'm going to go export to audio. Oh yeah, make sure it's not muted when you save it. I'm going to go export audio to computer, and I have a folder specifically for my spliced audios, and I'm going to put all of them in here, but don't forget, I'm going to put in the name of this condition. And if it'll let me, I'll put an E for Elizabeth, but it didn't let me last time. Alright, yeah, see, so it adds this dot wave. It really wants you to have that. Or, instead of the dot, instead of the underscore, I'll put an E. Alright, so this is item number 3, Spanish, non-switch, unspliced, Elizabeth. And I have it for this specific folder. I'm going to export. Alright, and now I'm going to go to this next one. This is the spliced. I'm going to copy this name. And then do the same. Export audio, export to computer, and it has it saved. It knows where I want it. And then I'll do E, and then it's going to make me do it. So I'm going to just add dot wave anyways. So item number 3, Spanish, non-switch, spliced, E. It's going to go there. And then I'm going to do that for the rest of them. Alright, so now I did this for all 5 windows. I saved them into my folder, and even though they're in a weird order now just because I have them shuffled by name, we can see we have the non-switch, both the spliced and unspliced, and we have our 3 other conditions for the code switches. So now what we can do, I can go back into the drive, and now we're going to go back again to spliced files, and this is Elizabeth's. I'm going to create item 3. Go like this, and I could either do file upload and then so now that we're here, I can go to file upload, go to here, and I can do this, or since I have it already open right here, I'm just going to do this and just drag them here. Boom. And now they're all here. You can make sure we got the 2 of those and the 3 of these, and we can compare it in here, and we've got the same 5. So now I can go onto here, show that I uploaded all these, and we're all done. Good job. And you can refer to this document. It has a lot of information. If you have any other tips or tricks that you find along the way that you want to add to it, go ahead, add those in. It'll be helpful for the next person.